with a woof and a woof and a royal growl.
What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be unboxing a set of vintage 32-year-old Wizard of Oz action figures. They're from 1989 and they're from Sky Kids Incorporated. And if you guys haven't checked out my last video where I unboxed 12-inch Wizard of Oz figures, then I'll put a link in the description and I'll put a picture up on the screen right now, and you guys check that out as well as a companion to this video. But I did find some action figures that are about the 3 3/4 inch scale, and they were together in a box, but we'll take a closer look at that when we get over to the unboxing area. But once again, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video to the Pop Complex, because the Pop Complex is the place for all things retro pop culture. That includes video games, TV, movies, and more, and toy collecting as well. So, my name is Matt, and this is the Pop Complex. Alright guys, and we're here back at the Pop Complex for another unboxing video. So today we are looking at the Wizard of Oz Poseable Collection from Sky Kids Inc. And they are, as I mentioned, the same company that distributed the 12-inch doll figures that I previously unboxed in my last video. So guys, check that out. There will be a link in the description again. So we'll take a closer look at the packaging here. Now these figures are from 1989. And if you take a look at the artwork here, as far as the Wizard of Oz logo, it absolutely screams 1989 with that pink and yellow pastel, kind of going against the grain of the normal Wizard of Oz promotional material, artwork, posters, the logo branding that we usually see with Wizard of Oz figures, which is more of a yellow brick road, Emerald City, as you can see here, kind of theme where you have a lot of bright blues and greens and yellows with that color scheme. But yeah, this is very, very, very late 80s looking as far as the color scheme goes. It instantly reminds me of like stuff like you know, Lisa Frank, when those really bright neon pinks and blues and purples and yellows were really in style around this time frame.
Lisa Frank makes the coolest stickers. I should know because I have most of them. There's all these folders and pens and backpacks and stationery and stickers. Of course, stickers. It's impossible to keep up with, but it's fun to try. Lisa Frank, you gotta have it.
So yeah, that screams 1989. So we'll take a closer look at the packaging. As you can see here, you have a picture of the actual 12-inch figures here, the 12-inch dolls that I unboxed here. They are pictured right here in this little film strip, and we have a screenshot from the movie here in this film strip, and you can see the 50th anniversary logo. Set includes Dorothy, Tin Man, Scarecrow, Cowardly Lion, Wicked Witch, and Glinda. So we'll take a closer look. There is the Scarecrow, and these guys, they look really extremely retro, like retro figures in the 80s did look. And you know, a lot of companies are doing throwbacks where they're making modern characters from different franchises in this retro look. So these guys scream the time period that they were from. So yeah, here's the Scarecrow, and you can see these figures actually have some knee articulation. None at the elbows. They would be, looks like normal 5-point articulation if it weren't for these knee joints that we do see here. So there's Scarecrow. There's Dorothy, oddly with very jet black hair and not brown hair like she actually had in the film. There is Tin Man, or as you can see, there's Toto in the basket. There's Tin Man. He has his heart printed on his chest plate there. He comes with the axe. You can see here there's the Cowardly Lion with his tail curled around, Glinda the Good Witch of the North, her magic wand, and finally the Wicked Witch of the West with her broomstick. So kind of loose in there, guys, but you can see the accessories are still taped, held in place. We'll take a look at the rest of the packaging here now. On the back, we have some nice, we have that neon pink and yellow artwork with the logo again, and we have some nice film strip artwork with different scenes from the film on there. As you can see, we'll get a closer shot of that. Different scenes of Dorothy the lion taking off in the hot air balloon, going through the haunted forest, the Tin Man dancing up here, if he only had a heart, if the Scarecrow only had a brain. So you guys get the idea. Now you can see here the logo there, 1989 Sky Kids Inc. So they are the same company and the same blue box style as those 12-inch dolls figures that I did unbox. So we take a look at the top. There's the logo again and some of that film strip type artwork. And the sides here, Wizard of Oz Poseable Collection, just is the same thing on all sides, guys. So there it is. So before we get these guys open and take a closer look at them, these are 32-year-old figures, guys, from 1989. And I'm gonna open them, I'm gonna unbox them and take a closer look. But before I do, I did want to mention, I got these at a local toy shop in my area called Replay Toys. And I will put a link in the description to their website. They have 3 locations now, and their website is replaymytoys.com. I'll put it up here and a link in the description. Big shout out to those guys. Really love going there, really love spending my money there and supporting that local business. Replaymytoys.com. So let's get these guys out of the package and take a trip down the yellow brick road. All right, guys, here are the figures out of the packaging for the first time in 32 years. Guys, once again, 32 years, and we've just opened, unboxed 1989 Wizard of Oz figures from Sky Kids Inc. So let's first take a look at the Scarecrow a little bit closer here, guys. So here's Scarecrow. You can see the sort of the primitive detailing there on his face. Of course, you know, guys, these sculpts aren't gonna absolutely blow you away. They're for what they were in 1989, especially with, you know, they seem to be a little bit more cheaply manufactured. Even then, these didn't seem like they were high quality action figures back for the time. So I did not notice this, guys, in the packaging, but the Scarecrow does have his diploma clenched in his fist, sculpted in. So one thing I did notice, guys, that really does tip you off that these were a little bit more cheaply manufactured back in the day by this Sky Kids Inc. company is that after a long time, guys, after several years, you can see the shine here on this plastic. It's actually you know, the plastic is sort of breaking down and creating this slimy kind of film over the figures. Now, they're not all this way, but it seems like the Scarecrow is really more than the others has this film over him, where the plastic has deteriorated somewhat over the past 32 years. So we'll take a closer look here, guys. There's his hat and his articulation. I'm gonna try to move his head a little bit to the left and to the right. It's kind of stiff. I don't really want to manipulate this too much because of his age. These are going to be display pieces for me, being a huge Wizard of Oz fan from the time I was like 4 or 5 years old. So these will be display pieces. And his articulation in his arms, of course, like normal, nearly 5-point articulation figures from the time. Shoulder articulation forward and back, both arms. So his leg articulation, he's articulated here at the hips. So the top of the legs, he can go forward and back somewhat. And these knee joints, they're a little bit loose, and they're really loose on the Tin Man, I did notice, but we'll look at that here in a little bit. So the knee joints, you could put him in a sitting position if you wished. And that's it, guys. That's it for the Scarecrow. So I'll spin him around so you take a closer look. And there is the Scarecrow. Now, one thing I did want to point out, I got all of these guys to stand pretty well, but for display purposes, these guys, the feet here, as you can see, none of them have peg holes in them. So unfortunately, I will not be able to use any action figure stands to help get these guys standing. I may use another alternative method if I have too much trouble with these, but they seem to stand pretty decent like they are. So we'll take a look at Dorothy here. Here's Dorothy. Like I said, she has this really strange jet black hair as opposed to brown hair like Judy Garland actually had in the film. But there she is, guys. Pretty primitive sculpt. The dress is a solid blue as opposed to that gingham, checked gingham print that she does have. But there she is. Her head within the confines of her pigtails here does move from side to side, and her arms up and down, both arms. Now this, she has a waist cut here so she can go to the left and to the right, and her legs don't seem to go, it looks like there's some articulation up there, guys, with the at the hip, but I can't really tell. I'm not going to press this too hard, but she does have that knee articulation like that within the confines of this hard plastic skirt, the bottom of the dress here. And then there's the iconic blue socks with the ruby slippers. And we'll take a closer look at her basket and Toto accessory. So there he is. So you can put it over her arm like so, like that, or over the other arm. Probably goes better over this arm since it's bent at the elbow. There we go. That looks great. But there's Dorothy. She doesn't really feel too sticky with that plastic breakdown like the Scarecrow did. There she is. And here is, as I've said before, guys, my favorite Wizard of Oz character, the Tin Man. So coming out of the package, his knee joints are a little bit on the loose side, as you can see here, but he does stand up reasonably well. They seem to lock in place. They're pretty good so he can stand up straight. But there he is. Pretty decent face sculpt for the detail that we're seeing on these other figures. I think actually he looks like he has the most detailed, best looking face out of all of these. They look pretty flat and primitive, almost like they were kind of sloppily hand painted, but this one looks really good, guys. Really good. And his head articulation is from side to side. He has the same shoulder articulation forward and back on both arms. He does have a heart printed on his chest, which is not in the film, of course. His leg articulation, he can go forward and back at the hips, and he has the loose knee articulation here. Decent, very decent likeness there. I like this one. This is my favorite figure, I think, out of these from what I've seen so far. But there's the back of the Tin Man, and he did come with his axe. Now you could really see that shiny film, and it's really bad. I can wipe it off right here, guys. It was where the tape, pieces of tape that were holding the accessories in, the adhesive on the tape was breaking down and penetrating onto the plastic here of these accessories. So before final display, I'll probably use some warm soapy water and clean these up the best that I can very carefully. But there's Tin Man. Stands up pretty decent. Glinda the Good Witch of the North. There's her tall hat, her crown. Not a great likeness either, guys, but you know, they are what they are. So take a look at her giant dress here, her billowy dress. And she does come with her magic wand with the star. I went ahead and put that in her hand. It does have this film on it a little bit, so I may clean that up a little bit, guys. So her articulation, her head does go from side to side like the other figures. Shoulder articulation forward and back on both arms. As you saw, she does have a waist articulation here at the dress. And this dress is one solid piece. As you can see, these feet only act as sculpted stands for her to be able to stand, but I think if they weren't even there, she would stand perfectly flat and flush with whatever surface I put her on. So there is Glinda, Good Witch of the North. And we have the Cowardly Lion. If you can see that, guys, not a great face sculpt and sort of a sloppy looking paint job, but you know, again, they were what they were for the time. I don't think these were very high quality toys for the time, but that's what you get. But they're still pretty cool. So Cowardly Lion, his head side to side again, and his tail here, but his arms do go forward and back. He has that hip joint here for his legs to go forward and back, and he has the knee joints, which seem to be the tightest knee joints of the bunch here. And his tail does, oddly enough, wrap around the front of him here, but his tail is on a swivel here, so he can kind of get some posability. Now I guess I could flip this back around to the back of him a little bit, kind of like that, but it seems to be pretty well sculpted in the angle that it is. It doesn't display too bad like that with the tail in the front, so I may just leave it alone for what it is. There's Cowardly Lion, guys. And finally, we'll take a look at the Wicked Witch of the West. There she is. Face sculpt, sort of a, you know, messy looking paint job for her face. But there's her hat. Broomstick she did come with. It's a little bit on the short side, very short. It's almost like a magic broom wand rather than a full broomstick. Just flip her around, and she does have the strip of cloth hanging from her hat like in the film. And you can see there that these guys are stamped on the back. This actually says 1988, not 1989 like the packaging says, but that could be the copyright because it does say Turner, like Turner Entertainment, that owns the rights to distribute The Wizard of Oz, or did then at the time. So the Wicked Witch of the West, you can see her head swivels from side to side, and looks like she did break just now, guys, so looks like some of the plastic here is definitely breaking down, so that is a shame. But see if I can put her back together and get that repaired. But these are pretty old, pretty cheap, but she did just now break. So up, and there we go again, the other side. Well, guys, I'm not going to manipulate this too much. As you can see, she is her plastic is breaking down more than the rest of these. So arms go up and down. There's the broomstick. She does have a waist articulation here a little bit, but no leg articulation because the dress is sculpted in as one full piece here with the feet sculpted in just like that. So there's the Wicked Witch of the West. It's a shame, guys, that she just broke after all these years, but 32 years old and seemed to be pretty cheap. So guys, that is it. I just opened 32-year-old Wizard of Oz figures from Sky Kids Inc. And let me know what you guys think down in the comments of these. Do you guys have these in your collection? And let me know if you do, and what other great Wizard of Oz things you have. You can support the channel by hitting that like button again and subscribing to the channel. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so you're always notified anytime I upload a new video to the Pop Complex. You can always support the channel, again, link in the description, at patreon.com/the Pop Complex. And guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Oz.